Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a compilation review, our Stevie Moore Lo-Fi High Fives.
I went down to the store to get our Stevie Moore, but they didn't have any there. And so I didn't care and I left.
Thank you. This guy is easily one of the most interesting figures in DIY self-recorded music. DIY recording artists have had a long history of making music that is not technically up to snuff when it comes to the sound quality of more professional recordings. But many who have decided to go it alone have made up for it with personality and sometimes even the development of their own sound because of the lack of constraints that comes with handling your own production. Artists like Mount Eerie or Daniel Johnston or Smog, or another artist who I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with who looks up to our Stevie Moore, Ariel Pink. Now, Moore has been self-recording since about the 60s, and he has taken full advantage of that lack of constraints that I mentioned, recording not just pop and rock music, but noise music and punk music and avant-garde music as well, electronic solo synth pieces, spoken word. And there are at least 200 different projects uploaded to the man's Bandcamp page right now, old and new. However, despite the very alienating moments in his discography, the parts in his discography that I'm sure you're just not going to like, the songs that are good are so good and so weird and just so ear-pleasing, to me anyway, that it makes plunging your hands into his discography and just digging through it kind of worth it. Stevie's whole career has just kind of been defined by exploration for the sake of it, good or bad. And to become an R. Stevie Moore fan, you kind of have to have that same characteristic about your listening that he does about his creating. And I think this new compilation could be kind of a gateway drug to that, because it really is a collection of 14 tracks that are some of Stevie's more accessible moments, for sure. It pretty much just stays within the pop and rock realm with a few weird exceptions. The opener on this compilation, Pop Music, is not one of my favorite songs of his. I think it's a better statement than it is a song. However, it kind of is a perfect opener for this compilation because it really kind of sets the bar for the weirdness. The melody on this thing is just so jagged, it's just so angular, it's performed in this very strange falsetto vocal. The first two tracks on this thing really are kind of choppy water for me. After that, things seem to smooth out with the track Why Should I Love You, which comes from one of my favorite R. Stevie Moore albums, Glad Music. It is one of the funnier love songs that I've ever heard, period. And you can really tell on this song that Stevie is recording really in another place, in another time. And I just prefer the sound of his older recordings so much more than some of his newer ones, which have a more kind of digital quality to them. Still, that doesn't stop the next song from being very awesome Dutch Me, which is a very syrupy, very, I guess, melancholic kind of slow jam featuring Ariel Pink on vocals. I'm pretty sure it's actually cut from the collaborative album the two of them put out recently. Some acoustic numbers come in after that, although I'm not a huge fan of the track Big Mistake. It meanders a little bit for me, but afterwards, Here Comes the Summer. It's a song that I've already known from R. Stevie Moore, but it seems a little revamped on this thing, adding some extra reverb to kind of enhance that large Phil Spector-esque panoramic sound that really brings out the Pet Sounds qualities of this track that I know Stevie was going for in at least the writing of the song anyway. The track Hurry Up has these loud pounding drums where the gate sort of seems to be messed with a little bit with some muddy guitar. Stevie Moore is whispering literally about hurrying up on the track. It's one of the stranger subject matters on the song. That and the last track, which is hilarious, where Stevie Moore is singing lyrics over and over and over, saying things like, I'm tired of singing about girls because I can't find any. The man has a lot of musical eccentricities, but he clearly has a lot of wit and just comedy to his lyrics at times too. However, I will say that this compilation is kind of hit or miss, and I feel like that comes with the territory of writing so much music and striving to make every song kind of different or unique in its own way. You're going to be trying things that aren't necessarily great ideas just to make the song different, which kind of makes an album or a compilation not the best kind of format to experience our Stevie Moore, in my opinion. I mean, sure, it's a great way to get interested and be introduced to the man, but my most rewarding experiences with our Stevie Moore's music have always been when I've just blindly kind of headed into whatever project or album he's put up on the internet and just cherry picking what I think is a great moment, out of whatever he's put out there and just kind of letting it be that. So I did like this compilation, not too much though. It felt kind of like a strong 6 to a light 7 for me. So what did you guys think of this compilation if you've heard it? Did you love it? Hate it? Why? And what should I review next? Anthony Fantano, our Stevie Moore, forever.